recording now. Yes, it's recording now. Thank you.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Raj Vidya Raj Guhya Yoga, Chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. Atah Navamo Adhyayah 9.1 Shri Bhagavanuvacha Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshase subhat.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence."
9.2 Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshavāgamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartumavyayam.
This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed.
9.3 Ashraddhadanaha Purusha Dharmasasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani.
Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world.
9.4 Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matsthani sarvabhutani na chaham te swavastitaha.
By me, my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them.
9.5 Nacha matsthani bhutani pashya me yogamaishwaram bhutabhrannacha bhutastho mamatma bhutabhavanaha.
And yet, everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation.
9.6 Yathakasha sthito nityam vayuh sarvatra go mahan tatha sarvani bhutani matsthani upadharaya.
Understand as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky. All created beings rest in me.
9.7 Sarvabhutani Kaunteya Prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpadau vishrajami aham.
O son of Kunti, at the end of millennium, all material manifestation enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again.
9.8 Prakritim swamavastabhya vishrajami punah punah bhutagramam imam krishnam avasham prakritirvasat.
The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated at the end.
9.9 न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनम् अशक्तं तेषु कर्मसु.
O Dhanarjuna, all this world cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral.
9.10 मयाध्यक्षेण प्राकृतिः सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते.
This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
9.11 अवजानन्ति मां मूढा मनुष्यं तनुमाश्रितं परं भावम् अजानन्तो मम भूतमहेश्वरम्.
Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be.
9.12 मोघशामोघकर्माणो मोघज्ञानेन विचेतसः राक्षसीम् असुरीं चैव प्राकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रितः.
Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes of liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated.
9.13 महात्मानस्तु मां पार्थ दैवीं प्राकृतिमाश्रिताः भजन्ति अनन्यमनसो ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम्.
O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible.
9.14 सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढव्रताः नमस्यन्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते.
Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these are great souls perpetually worship me with devotion.
9.15 ज्ञानयज्ञेन चापि अन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम्.
Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form.
9.16 अहं क्रतुरहं यज्ञः स्वदाहम् अहमौषधम् मन्त्रोऽहम् अहमेवाज्यम् अहम् अग्निरहं हुतम्.
But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering.
9.17 पिताहमस्य जगतो माता धाता पितामहः वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कार ऋक्साम यजुरेव च.
I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Rig and the Sama and the Yajurvedas.
9.18 गतिर्भर्ता प्रभुः साक्षी निवासः शरणं शुहत् प्रभावः प्रलयः स्थानं निधानं बीजमव्ययम्.
I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place and the eternal seed.
9.19 तपामि अहमहं वर्षं निगृह्णामि उत्सृजामि च अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सत् असच्चाहमर्जुन.
O Arjuna, heat, and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality, and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me.
9.20 त्रैवेद्या मां सोमपाहपूतपापा यज्ञेरिच्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नान्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देवभोगान्.
Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planet, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights.
9.21 ते तं भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकं विशालं क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशान्ति एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्ना गता गतं कामकामा लभन्ते.
When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure, and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death.
9.22 अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्.
But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have.
9.23 येऽपि अन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्ति अविधिपूर्वकम्.
Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way.
9.24 अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च न तु मामभिजानन्ति तत्त्वेन तश्च्यवन्ति ते.
I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down.
9.25 यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रतः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्या यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्.
Those who worship demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me.
9.26 पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तद् अहं भक्ति उपहारतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः.
If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it.
9.27 यत्करोषि यदस्नासि यज्जुहोसि ददासि यत्तपस्यासि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me.
9.28 शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैस्यसि.
In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me.
9.29 Samoham sarvabhuteshu na me dveshyosti na priyah ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mahi te teshu chapiyaham.
I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him.
9.30 Api chet suduracharo bhajte mamananya bhak sadhureva samantavyah samyak vyavasito hi saha.
Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination.
9.31 क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वच्चान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्ताः प्रणश्यति.
He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes.
9.32 मां हि पार्थ व्यपाश्रित्य येऽपि स्युः पापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शूद्रास्तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम्.
O son of Prithu, those who take shelter in me, although there be lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, and Sudras workers can attain the supreme destination.
9.33 किं पुनर्ब्रह्मणः पुण्या भक्ता राजरसयस्तथा अनित्यम् अशुकं लोकम् इमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम्.
How much more so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and their saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me.
9.34 मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यसि युक्त्वैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणः.
Engage mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me, being completely absorbed in me. Surely you will come to me.
ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भागवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्ण अर्जुनसंवादे राजविद्या राजगुह्ययोग नवमो अध्यायः. हरे कृष्णा. Thank you.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Thank you very much, Divya Gorangi Mataji and Joli Mataji. Very, very nicely recited. Thank you so much. Okay, let me now.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Stop sharing this. Okay. Can everybody hear me nicely?
Very well.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, right. So let's start reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9. We'll just do the summary as usual. So verses 1 to 3, we learned about the knowledge and the eligibility. verses 4 to 10, he read about Krishna's relationship with the world, Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva. 11 to 25, we read about whose neglect bhakti and the divine don't. And this last section, which is 26 to 34, we are Krishna speaking about glories of devotional service to Krishna. So we'll read today's verse once again, 927. Yat karoshi yat ashnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kauteya tat kurushva madapanam. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Purport. Thus, it is the duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstance. Everyone has to work for maintenance of his body and soul together, and Krishna recommends herein that one should work for him. Everyone has to eat something to live. Therefore, he should accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Any civilized man has to perform some religious ritualistic ceremonies. Therefore, Krishna recommends, do it for me. And this is called Archana. Everyone has a tendency to give something in charity. Krishna says, give it to me. And this means that all surplus money accumulated should be utilized in furthering the Krishna conscious movement. Nowadays, people are very much inclined to meditation courses, which is not practical in this age. But if anyone practices meditation on Krishna 24 hours a day by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra around his beads, he is surely the greatest meditator and the greatest yogi, as substantiated by the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pajata Devasitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So in the previous verse, in verse 26, which our Vrindavan Prabhu did, Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu did so nicely over the last 2 days, Krishna was talking about the types of eatables that Krishna would like offered to him. So now in this verse, Krishna is saying that I want you to offer all actions to me. All actions have to be offered to him. So most people, they separate their devotion from their daily life. And I'm talking about my own example. Until I came to Krishna consciousness, and even after coming to Krishna consciousness after a long while, I sort of started to get into better habits. But otherwise, the routine used to be that I would do my puja in the morning, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. In those days, of course, I didn't chant. I was worshipping demigods, but I would chant. Yes, I would chant the Om Namah Shivaya mantra, but only one round or something like this. I'll do a Devo and all that, and then that will be it. For the rest of the day, I have no thoughts of devotion in my mind at all. And this is how most people are. If you think about it, most people in India, they have their little routine to do a little puja in the morning, and then the rest of the day, they really have absolutely no connection with Krishna. So I suppose this is, of course, not bad. It's rather than having nothing at all devotional in your life. At least if you're doing that, that means that you have got some security and you have got some inclination towards devotional service. So I'm not criticizing it, but it's just that when you then come to Krishna consciousness, we learn, as this particular purport in this particular verse is saying, that we really need to try and keep Krishna in our mind throughout the day, not just in the morning or sometimes just in the evening. So very, very
Can you mute everyone, please? It's so difficult, there's a sound.
Sorry, who's that?
Can everyone get muted? I mean,
Oh, yes, sure, yes. Okay.
Please, Prabhu.
Let me do it from my side. Sorry about that.
Somebody is loudly burping.
Oh God. I promise you it was not me. But let me see, how do I mute? I see that button again that I was using. Mute me, but this is participants, and that I should be able to get that those are the buttons, but I'm not getting. 1 second. Let me just expand that. Sorry, 1 second. I'm going all the way down, but it's not giving me that button to mute everybody. And I think, okay, let me see if I can. No, on my screen, everybody seems to be muted. Okay, let's see.
Can you mute her, please?
Okay, yeah, I think one I found which was not muted. I'm muted now.
Yeah, please.
Okay, hopefully it's so. If you can all just look at your speaker symbol, make sure that it's red. It's that red means it's muted. Thank you so much. Yes, so I was saying, so that this is amazing. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives us this amazing information, and also one other thing. Sorry, just to pause for a second. I keep getting requests at the moment. I'm getting a request from Amit, who's requesting me to annotate the shared content. So obviously somebody is pressing the wrong button somewhere. So this is why you see the white box there. So just keep in mind. Obviously, I don't think anybody does it purposely, but I don't see why anybody would want to make marks on the document. Perhaps somebody is trying to open up the chat window and it's coming up like that. I'm not sure, but anyway, that's how it is. So yeah, so by coming to Krishna consciousness, by hearing Krishna's verses and also Prabhupada's purports, we get to know so clearly that we are so far away. We really need to try and think of Krishna 24 hours. Of course, it's a matter of practice. It doesn't happen straight away. It happens as a matter of practice. So we have to just be mindful of that. Let's go to the main points of the purport. Prabhupada saying, mold our life in such a way that we will not forget Krishna in any circumstances. So there's a very beautiful verse. I'm not quite sure where it's from. Prabhupada quotes this sometimes, and I couldn't find the source for it today. But it's a verse which he speaks many times. It says, Smartavya satatam Vishnu, Vismartavya na jatuchit, sarva vidhi nishedashur, etayo eva kinkara. So it says, Smartavya satatam Vishnu. So always remember Vishnu, always remember Krishna. Vismartavya na jatuchit, never forget him. And it says Sarva Vidhi Nishedashu. So all regulations and all prohibitions of Shastra should be kinkara, should be servants to this particular instruction. Always remember Krishna. This is what we need to try and do. And comes by practice. It's not impossible, it comes by practice. Prabhupada then says that everyone has to work for maintenance of his body, soul, and together. Krishna recommends that we should work for him. So there's a beautiful. So we exactly how do we're always doing something, physically or mentally. We cannot be doing nothing. There's the yogis, for example, who sometimes they try and withdraw their senses and do nothing. But Prabhupada says this doesn't work in this age. In the previous ages, the yogis had these kind of powers and they were able to do it. But right now in Kali Yuga, everybody is so weak that this kind of withdrawal is not possible. So you are always going to be thinking something. You're always going to be active. There's a verse in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita 3.5. It says, Nahi kashir sharanapi jatu tishyati karma krit karyate yavasha karma sarva prakriti jayaguni. So it says that everyone is forced to act helplessly. Mark the word helpless. Even if you want to helplessly, you're going to be acting according to the qualities he is acquired from the modes of nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So in this verse, just a couple of things, just in terms of Sanskrit pronunciation, a couple of things I just wanted to point out. That wherever there is a Y in between in a sentence, so for example, if you read this as it is, you will read Jatu Tishtyati Akarmakrit, right? But the correct way to say this is Jatu Tishtyat Karma. So Jatu Tishtyat Karmakrit, which means Y and A would combine. Similarly, I think later on here somewhere, yeah, here. Karyate, if you say karyate hi avasha karma, it's not correct. Karyate hi avasha karma. The reason why it is not correct is because if you see this, most of these small verses are, there is called the Anushtup meter. Anushtup means 8, 8, 8, 8. So it's 8 syllables. So you say na hi kashit shanam api. If you count that, that'll be 8. So similarly, they're all 8. But if you say karyate hi avasha karma, then it'll become 9. That's why you need to join Y and A together. It's just one of those Sanskrit things, right? So there's this different kind of meters understood with the main meter that most of the small verses are. And the longer verses, they're called Trishtup. Trishtup are 11, 11, 11, 11. So the typical example will be Sarva Sichaham Vidisannivishto. So that'll be 11. Mata Smriti, so like that. So these are the two main that we use, 8 and 11. And that's where you, when you then pronounce the verse, it'll rhyme very nicely. So yes, we have to do we have to do something. We can't do nothing. This is the point this particular area is making. So we must work for his satisfaction. This verse again in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Yagyata karmano nyatra loko yam karmana bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. He again is giving the same instruction. Work done as a sacrifice to Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this world. Therefore, son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. And in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. So, work. There's 3 types of karma. Does anybody know the 3 types of karma? I know there's lots of very knowledgeable devotees on this group.
Prabhuji, can you mute everyone, please? Meena Mataji is making a lot of noise.
Okay, let's see.
I have muted.
Okay, that's muted.
Muted?
Muted means red. So if your microphone is showing gray, then it's not muted.
Oh.
So
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I was going to say karma, akarma and vikarma.
thank you very much. Who was that? I didn't see the name.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Mataji. Who gave the answer just now?
Krishna Prabhuji. Harini Krishna.
Sorry, say again your name.
Harini Krishna.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah. So that's fine. Yeah. So karma, vikarma, akarma. Karma means prescribe you're just you doing your duties, and it's sometimes good, sometimes bad, and you're getting your result accordingly. Vikarma is just bad karma, and akarma means this is the kind of karma that we are talking about in this particular section of Bhagavad Gita. Akarma means you do action, but it does not bound you, it doesn't give you any reaction. And this verse 3.9 talks about it. In that way, you will always remain free from bondage. So work performed for sacrifice for Vishnu has been performed. So sacrifice meaning that whatever we do for Krishna. Yat karoshi yat dashnashi yat jivoshi dadashi yat. This is the verse that we are on today. So if we do everything for Krishna, then we have no karma to account for. Example is Arjun. Arjun fought the war, but he did not fight. He did not want to fight. He actually tried so hard in the beginning to say, I don't want to fight Krishna. But Krishna then, after giving him the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, said to him that you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for me. And then then Arjuna was fighting, and of course then there was no karma. As it is actually, because Arjuna is a Kshatriya, by fighting is his duty. So he would not incur any bad karma. But he still was doubtful about that. So we have to focus on our karma as much as possible so that we're not bound by the results of our work. So then Krishna talks about eating foodstuffs offered to him, which is something that the last 2 days we have been listening to Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu nicely, how Krishna is asking particular kind of foods that we offer. But so in this case, there's a little change. He's saying in that verse, 926, Krishna is saying, you got to offer to me. But now he's saying that you have to eat whatever was offered to me, right? So again, I'm going back to my own old style. A typical Hindu home offering would be something like this. I don't know if you can see, but what we would do, like in the morning or maybe in the evening, whatever the routine was, we would have a little plate, and we would have some mithai or some sweets, some fruit or something, and we would offer that to the Lord in the morning. And then after a while, you take it away, and then we would have it as prasadam, which is all very nice. But then the rest of the day, whatever we were cooking, we're not offering to Krishna. We are just eating it, right? So again, as I said earlier, offering just once and just something special for Krishna is also not bad. It's better than nothing. But Krishna consciousness, again, Prabhupada teaching us, no, our offering should be like this. You should be offering whatever you cook, you put it on a plate, a special plate that you reserve for Krishna, and you offer it. So that way, whatever during the day you are consuming, you are offering to Krishna. Not just one time in the morning, a little bit of sweet or something that you specially brought for Krishna. Some misri, some shakar, something like that we used to offer, right? Or some just dry nuts sometimes we used to offer. But that is, like you say, fine, Krishna accepts everything with love. But when you offer all day with love, whatever you're making, you have your breakfast, but before you have it, you offer it to Krishna. You prepare your lunch, before you have it, you offer it to Krishna. Before your dinner, before you, so like that. So this is how you keep yourself in Krishna consciousness in terms of food that we take. And one other big advantage there is, of course, when you're making for Krishna, you are thinking about Krishna. So your process has started. You know, when your devotional service doesn't only start when you actually take the plate to your altar and put it down and chant the mantra. No, your devotional service has started actually way back. They started from the contemplation. So the time you decided that today I'm going to cook this, today I'm going to cook dokla, for example, and I'm going to cook that. Okay, initially, frankly speaking, all of us are in a consciousness where we're cooking it because we feel like eating it, right? But gradually, by practice, we'll get to a stage where we will be thinking, okay, today let me make dokla. My wife does that sometimes. She would say, we haven't offered dokla for a long time, so let's make dokla. So like that, you think about Krishna. So it's from contemplation to driving. Okay, nowadays we're in lockdown, but normal time, you're driving to the shop to buy the ingredients, shopping, paying for it, putting it back in the car, coming back home, cleaning the boga, cooking it, and then offering it, and then even honoring it. That whole complete process becomes devotion service. So this is such a nice thing to do. You must always get into this habit, and it's such an easy thing to put into practice. In this way, we are becoming Krishna conscious a lot more than just morning or evening. Then Prabhupada says, perform ritualistic ceremonies for him. It's called archana. Archana is prayers or rather worship, right? So religious rituals is a symptom of civilized human beings. Prabhupada often says that if a human being doesn't have religion in his life, then he is no better than an animal. So religion is very much part of all human beings. Doesn't matter which part of the country of the world you're born in. We particularly in terms of archana, we particularly follow Narada Pancharatra Vidi at the ISKCON temples, and we also follow that at home. So it's got 5 aspects to it. So abhigaman, which means cleanse ourselves to be ready for preparing the offering. Upadan, gather all the paraphernalia we need for the offering. That could be your little bell that you clean, your thali, your diya, everything that you need, and also the bhoga. Then yoga, very important part. So basically, before we just start doing it in a rush, you contemplate, you sit down and connect yourself to the Lord. Ask for any forgiveness. Ask and pray that your act of worship comes out as Krishna wants it. Then the actual part of worship, that's when you start ringing your bell, you start rotating your diya, you start offering your agarbati and the bhoga. That is the actual worship. And then svadhyaya. After, it's always recommended that after you offer it, after you've done your puja, you sit and read a little bit. Read the Bhagavatam, a few pages, Bhagavad Gita, a few pages, something like that. So this is the complete process of worship, archana. So here we found some rare pictures of Srila Prabhupada himself teaching by his own example. He's showing how to prepare things for archana, and then he's himself offering the arati here. I'm not sure which temple this is, but very, very early days, he himself is showing us by his personal example how to do worship. Then about charity. Prabhupada says that everybody has a tendency to give something in charity, so give it to me. So here, people would often say, you know, there's so many places that we need to give charity to and all that, so we can't just only keep giving to ISKCON, right? But so what I would do is I would recommend everybody to read the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. There's 20, 21, and 22 talk about how to do charity, in which mode. So it's 20 says the charity given out of duty without expectation of return at the proper time and place and to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness. So this is where we think about. When you think about giving a charity, first of all, expectation of no return, proper time and place, and a worthy person. So here in the Prabhupada is saying that a worthy person or a worthy entity is Krishna consciousness. And we'll come to why in a minute. 21 says, but charity performed with expectation of some return, or with a desire for some fruitive results, or in a grudging mood, is said to be charity in the mode of passion. So it's very obvious, isn't it? If you want, okay, I'm going to give a charity. Just recently, well, about last year, we went to see a family. Mataji wanted to give some Lakshmi for the Haveli, and she had an amount in mind, but she kept insisting that she wanted her name on the door of this particular room and all that. So it was like a long negotiation about it. So you can see that is like a charity in the mode of passion. A grudging mood, again, in the mode of passion. We must give charity with a pleasing mind, and also it is said that when people give charity, the left hand should not know what the right hand has done. That's how we should be. Not expecting any fruitive results or any recognition for your charity. Then the next verse says, the charity performed in impure place, improper time, unworthy person, or without proper attention or respect is said to be a mode of ignorance. And you can imagine lots of places we are walking around and some junkie just comes up to us. Yesterday, a couple of days ago, we were in the Asda car park for click and collect, and this guy comes, oh, I'm on the street, can you give me a few coins? Irish sounding guy. So you imagine that you gave him a pound out of compassion, and that pound going to go straight into buying cigarettes or buying beer or buying whiskey, whatever, you know. So similarly, in India, especially, you know, luckily in UK we don't have so much of that. In India, when you walk around, there's so many people, especially in holy places, they just come following you, asking for money. But the problem is, you just don't know. You just don't know. So this is why I would rather give money to an institution where I know where the money is going to, and again, especially in India, because a lot of these so-called beggars are part of these big syndicates where these gundas have put them up to this, and whatever money these little poor children are collecting, they're getting nothing out of it. All the money is going to the gundas, to the people who are racketeers. So it's the worst way that you can give your charity. It's money that's going to cause you reaction, because your money is being used in that way. It's going to cause you reaction. So you can be very, very careful how we do the charity. Different types of welfare work people do, right? So people will build hospitals. People will give food to charity to institutions where they need food and everything, to their food, they feed the poor. So many things people do. So all those types of welfare work is good. Of course, it should not be stopped. But the point is, we must have the understanding then that the charity, that charity is temporary. You feed a person today, in 8 hours time he'll be hungry again. You give some clothes to somebody, within a couple of years that cloth will be torn. He'll be in need again. So everything is temporary, right? But if you give somebody Krishna consciousness, if you give somebody the holy name, that is permanent, not only for this lifetime, for lifetime after lifetime. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita that, this is verse 240, Neha brikamanashosti prattivayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. That in this endeavor of devotional service, there is no diminution. He says, even a little advancement on this path can protect you from the most dangerous type of fear. And the most dangerous type of fear is, okay, can somebody say what is the most dangerous type of fear?
Fear of death.
Fear of death. Yeah, most people will say so, right? But actually,
your birth in the next generation.
exactly. The fear of death. Devotees are not afraid of death, because death, they know death is inevitable. But we prepare for death, and we are ready for death. What we are really afraid of is taking a birth again in this Kali Yuga, and not being able to do Krishna consciousness. If we are able to come back and do Krishna consciousness, that's fine. But the biggest danger is to get birth in a family where you don't come into contact with devotees. That is the biggest danger, because then you're down on the downward spiral. But as that verse says, 240, Neha brikamanashosti, even if you've done a little bit of devotion service, you carry it to your next life and you continue from there. This is why it is so important that the best welfare work is distributing Krishna Prasadam, Krishna Kirtan, and Prabhupada's books. This is not only welfare work that will actually, this is the only welfare work that will actually help people for eternity, not only for this lifetime. Right? Very, very important. And we know that a lot of you have volunteered for book distribution, especially Bhadra campaign and everything. And this is the best service we can do, is to distribute Prabhupada's books and give this knowledge, this wonderful knowledge, the most secret of secrets that people are ignorant of, and let everybody make their way out of this miserable world, right? Then yoga, we'll quickly cover this. We're running out of time. Prabhupada says this kind of yoga does not work. The Ashtanga yoga method is too hard in this age. Again, in the previous ages, people were more powerful and they were able to do that, but it doesn't really work. Yes, there's a lot of yoga studios and some benefit. Physically, it's fine, it's okay, but meditation should be on 24 hours on the beads on Krishna. And this Prabhupada says is mentioned in the 6th chapter, and the particular verse that Prabhupada probably has in mind is the last verse, which says, Yoga. In the 6th chapter, Krishna speaks to Arjuna and gives him all kinds of different yoga methods, teaches him that just for his knowledge. But at the end, he says, Yoginam api sarvesham matgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam sameyukta tamomata. That of all the yogis, he, one who, with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service unto me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga, and is the highest of all. That is my opinion, Krishna says. There was more that we could have said, but I think we're running out of time. So I will stop here. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, and I will open up for any comments, realizations, additions, corrections, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much for a lovely class. My mum just had a question. She was wondering, how would you recommend to give charity in India? What's the best way?
In India, I used to before, because you feel very sorry sometimes. I used to actually give some money on the street, but I don't do that anymore because of the background we know. Unfortunately, there may be some genuine cases, but they also lose out because of this bad situation. But we can't take a chance because we are taking the karma on. So what I would do, and because of course I belong to ISKCON and I know how well all the ISKCON temples spend their money. Not a penny is lost. Every penny is spent for Krishna's service. So I would spend the money where I know that and I'm ISKCON of course, but any other sanstha that you know that the money is used 100% in the right way, I would do that, right? I would not even give to the charity organization so much because frankly speaking, a large percentage of the fund that you give, if you give £100 to a charity, for example, whatever big charity you name it, the admin and the salaries and all those things, they take away 50-60% of it. So at the end, only 30-40% of your money is going to the charity you want it to go to. So the best thing is to do like either do it if you're able to go to a place and not just give them money to feed the poor, but actually feed the poor. Right? That is good because you can see it, you can do it. But where they say, give us the money and we'll feed them tomorrow, no, that won't happen.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Probably.
Thank you for the lovely class.
Thank you.
My question is, we have no control over paying taxes, but sometimes taxes are used to make nuclear weapons, to destroy world or defense or whatever, and sometimes for space research as well, which is again a wastage because you cannot just go to any planet and live there or see whether it's habitable or not. It's wastage of money.
Yes.
Again. So I mean, we don't have any control over paying taxes, but our taxes go in that as well.
Exactly. So this is a good point you make. But as you say yourself, we have no choice, and it is something that is mandatory. The government will just take it away from us. So because we are not making that choice, it's not our choice to give that money to the government. Of course, our choice would be to have zero tax, but it is not our choice. So that way, we're not really part of that activity that happens with the Lakshmi later because we did not give that money voluntarily as charity.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
I wondered about Krishna consciousness. They provide plaques with people's names to be recognized as giving a charitable donation. Obviously, some of these people haven't read the Gita to find out about it. How can we discourage that? Show that it's not an encouraging thing to take recognition for what you give.
Yes, very good point, Jolly Mataji. Excellent point. Okay, as an organization, we come across people who are in all different modes. They're under all different modes, as you can imagine. So this, what we are reading in the Bhagavad Gita, is a very high standard, and we can't expect everybody to be on that standard. So as an organization, if we, for example, if we were to say that, right, we're going to ask you for charity, but we're not going to mention any names, we would then lose out a lot because there are people again still in a mode of ignorant, mode of passion mostly, who would want to give, but they do want recognition. So we don't want to reduce the Lakshmi coming in because, of course, we all need the Lakshmi to survive on. And it is up to them for eventually, hopefully, by giving Lakshmi to Krishna, Krishna will eventually give them the buddhi, the Dami Buddhi Yogam Tam, that eventually they will come to the understanding that actually, no, I should not be asking for recognition. But right now, of course, we cannot stipulate that we will not name anybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, sorry.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, my question is just regarding the foods again. Compared to continuing with the last 2 days. Prabhuji, sometimes when we buy from supermarket, we have like onion and garlic mixed in the things, in the spices. For example, I think a simple example that I could take is of a baked bean. So what do we do with that, Prabhuji? I mean, do we avoid that? Sometimes when you're in a grahastha life, you got work to go and you got kids to manage. Sometimes it gets harder.
It does get harder. I'll get my wife to answer that. Go on. Okay, so my wife would spend a lot of time shopping because she would read all the ingredients and she will not buy anything that has got onion garlic in it. So in baked beans, for example, we have a brand. Which brand do we buy?
Heinz.
Heinz.
Sometimes you get different types. You just have to read the ingredients. Basically, I don't buy the like canned food or anything like that. But sometimes, yeah. But I know there is. I think it's Heinz. Heinz used to do with onion and garlic. Now they do without onion and garlic. So there are 2-3 different types. We just have to read whether they put onion or not.
Even the Swami Narayan, shop, they have without onion and garlic.
Oh yes, they do. They do. So actually, with almost everything that you need, there's always an option without onion and garlic. Always, almost always.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah,
Both
even
Mataji.
tomato ketchup.
Tomato, you're going to be careful. Yeah, some tomato ketchup also has garlic or onion in it. So you have to be careful there.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, one last question from me.
Yes.
People say that when you give to the temples don't need it because they've got a lot of money in the temples. So use your money for different resources.
No, the thing is, yeah. So if people say yes, temple have a lot of money. People say that there's a lot of somebody needs to mute. 1 second. Yeah. Okay. The temples always need a lot of money, especially now, Pratibha Mataji. We've had now 2 months of almost nobody going to the temple. So the regular collection that we rely on is not happening. So there is severe shortage of funds. You cannot imagine how expensive it is to run a place, for example, like the Bhaktivedanta Manor. It is a very, very expensive place to run, and unless we get all these wonderful devotees giving that Lakshmi to the temple, we would not be able to do so many things. Like, for example, we would not be able to serve prasadam to everybody free of charge. We would not be able to build places like the Haveli. We would not even be able to buy the wonderful outfits that we buy for the deities. So many things, right? So we certainly, please do not stop offering your Lakshmi to the temples. That is very, very needed. And that Lakshmi, as I said, is always used for Krishna.
Yeah, and second part of that is when we give food containers to organizations like Food for Life or other such charity work, we don't look at those containers because we are giving to somebody else. Should we be looking and does it incur any charges against us, karmas, if we give food which contains like onion and garlic, etc.? I'm talking only of vegetarian foods. I'm not talking of non-veg or.
Yes. I think for our consumption is more important.
Okay.
And as far as possible, even to give to others, you should not. I'll just give you an example. We recently just been relying on delivery, so we had a delivery and something was delivered which we could not obviously accept. So what
somebody else's order.
Yeah, somebody else's order was delivered to us by mistake, and we got stuff in there which we wouldn't consume. So we phoned the company and they said, we're going to just give you credit. It's not worth our while to come and pick it up. You just order your other stuff and you can just destroy whatever you have or use it. So what we then did was we thought, okay, to throw away food is also not nice. Right?
Yes.
So we just gave it to our neighbors who don't mind eating onion garlic. So like that, we gave it away. So there also I was thinking, okay, maybe by giving it to them, am I encouraging them to eat that? So am I encouraging karma? I feel no, because they're going to eat it anyway, right? They're eating it. So rather than throwing food in the dustbin, I gave it to them. But more important for us is to make sure that we don't consume it, because it's about keeping our consciousness free from these kind of intoxicants.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, go on.
Prabhuji,
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Just to say, a food for life, we won't use onion or garlic because we offer everything to Krishna first. So
Oh, thank you.
onion and garlic will never be used at food for life.
Okay, thank you, Kali Mataji. Yes, I
Okay.
was thinking that as well when she mentioned Food for Life. But if it's any other charities, it's different slightly. But Food for Life, we obviously would not, because again, we need to offer it, and we can't offer anything with onion garlic to Krishna.
Yeah, I was thinking of charities like a church, etc. That as well.
Yeah, but again, like as I say, as much as possible, let's give what we normally eat rather than give them something that you should not be eating. But as a last resort, yeah, it's fine.
Out of choice.
Yeah, all right. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one last question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You know, in the previous verse, we studied Patra Pushpam Phalam Toyam.
Yes.
But see, we don't. Patram means leaf. Pushpam means flower, right? So we can't offer, for example, tea leaf, coffee leaf. These are all leaves.
Yes.
So how do we? But we don't even drink tea and coffee, which are made out of leaf.
Correct. Correct.
So how do we make that?
So yeah, so of course we this is the general category, leaves, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, so leaves, flower, Pushpam Phalam, and fruit or water. So this is a general category. So within those categories, of course, if there is, for example, leaves which have got stuff, it's what is it called? It's got stimulants, right? The reason we don't have tea and coffee is because of stimulants. So if we have stuff that got stimulants, then we don't offer it. So we have to be selective from there. We don't. It doesn't mean all leaves.
Yeah.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Makes sense. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Just quick one. I know it's getting late. The quick one. What is the reason for that we can't put onions in the food we offer to the god? While we can eat, but we can't offer to the god. Same thing.
Oh no, we can't eat either. This is the point. We cannot eat onion garlic because onion and garlic have got. They are in the they say like everything is in three modes: mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So onion and garlic fall in the mode of passion and ignorance. So we avoid foods which are in that mode, because when you have onion and garlic, it has got these qualities, tamasic qualities, which we want to avoid. So neither do we have them, nor do we offer it to Krishna. If you have any offering, even if you go to Gurudwara, wherever, where there's hunger going on, never they will offer any onion and garlic.
That's right.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Just a little query.
Yes.
I noticed there is a request for people to volunteer for book distribution.
Yes.
If you're already engaged in it, do I have to register?
Actually, Divya Prabhu is handling that side. So just get in touch with him. I'm not sure exactly how that system works, because what we do, the book distribution goes on throughout the year, especially in December we have the marathon. But right now we're focusing on the Bhadra campaign, which is for the Bhadra Purnima, which happens in September. So we're trying to distribute, especially Srimad Bhagavatams, as many as possible between now and the 2nd of September. And for that, there's a special group set up and everything. So Divya Prabhu can guide you on that.
Okay, thank you. Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much, everybody. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please look after yourselves. Take care. Hare
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.